Hello, my name is Kim-Niklas Antin and I'm the CTO of Parexo Crafts. In this video I will show you how Parexo Crafts is bringing sustainable speedboats to the market using the latest technology. Over here is an example of such technology. This is a carbon fiber gauge cluster made using a mold like this. It all begins with the raw material of the mold. These pellets are bio-based composite made by UPM. It's a cellulose fiber reinforced thermoplastic. The pellets are fed into an extruder which is attached to a 3D printing robot. Here we see a time-lapse of the part being printed at research institutes of Sweden. The surface is then machined and the mold is prepped for laminating. After trimming and finishing, the part looks like this and it's ready to be mounted on the boat. This is a small part, but it demonstrates the feasibility of using such mold technology to produce composite parts for the boating industry in a sustainable and circular way. Thank you for watching, and remember to check out parexocrafts.com. Hello, my name is Kim-Niklas Antin, and I'm the CTO of Parexo.
All right, so that was the video and tying together the project that we had so far. And then next, I'd like to show what we are doing today in terms of implementing sustainable development into boat building, because we see that that's the future. And then I'd like to close off with our future vision of what we will do in the long term. So let me get this. So what we can do today is life cycle analysis, and life cycle can be divided into two parts. We have the one which the manufacturer can control, and that's called cradle to gate. And that's where the product is born and it's given to the user. And this is easy to implement because it's the one that the manufacturer can control, and there are parameters that we can control, like which materials we use, which processes we use, what kind of supply chain we have. And this mold demo that we just presented is a good example of that. How we can, at the manufacturer's end, control our emissions and environmental footprint. But then, if we look at the whole life cycle of the product from cradle to grave, then actually a large part of the life is the one where the user is in control. And then we need to start thinking about the whole life cycle and what happens with the user. And a couple of examples of how to think about this. For example, carbon fiber material in itself has a higher CO2 footprint compared to glass fiber. But because the carbon fiber boat is lighter, actually the reduced fuel consumption offsets this after 3 years. So if you think about the whole life of the boat, actually carbon fiber is more environmentally friendly. Another example of looking at the whole life is the cost. So carbon fiber is more expensive than glass fiber, so the consumer would have to pay more for a carbon fiber boat. But once again, because it's lighter, there is saved fuel costs, and this offset the increased purchasing price after 3 years of moderate use. So this is a change in the way we see. We are not worried about just producing the boats and giving it to the user, but we are actually thinking about the whole life of the boat from cradle to grave. And what the future will hold is actually thinking about what happens after the grave. Can we give a second life to the boat? It doesn't have to die and leave it rotting somewhere on a field. Maybe we can give a second life to the boat. And instead of trying to optimize for producing the boat, we can try to optimize for reusing or remanufacturing boats. And in this vision, the boat would come back to the producer after the user no longer wants it. And then the producer can remanufacture it and maybe fit it for another purpose. If we just look at life cycle analysis, it could be a common conclusion that we need a product that lasts long. But actually technology is advancing so fast and consumer behavior is changing so fast that it doesn't matter if the product lasts forever if nobody wants it anymore. So we need to be prepared for the future, and we need to plan for the future by making boats that can be refreshed to the current technology level. For example, if we sell a petrol-engined boat today, it could be that the user wants an electric boat in 5 years. So we need to be prepared to make this kind of refresh to the boat, and that requires a whole new kind of thinking, and it's not a small task at all. So it's definitely something that will take some time, but we at Parexo see this as the future of boat building.